regardless of who gets the 8 seed, as a Laker fan, I am not worried on whoever gets the 8 seed. I feel like the Lakers will handle them pretty good, pretty easily. If it's the Grizzlies, the Suns, or the Spurs, it's gonna be easy 4-0, 4-0 cakewalk, 4-0 sweep. If it's the Blazers, it'll probably be a gentleman's sweep, a 5-4-1, 5 games, 5 game series, maybe 6. But I don't see the Blazers pushing the Lakers to a 7 game. Or a lot of people even have the Blazers winning the series just outright, which I think is pretty crazy. It's kind of insulting to the Lakers. The Lakers have the number 1 seed for a reason. They were the number 1 seed for almost the whole season in the Western Conference, the tougher division. They're still ranked as one of the best defenses in the whole league. I know their offense has struggled a bit in the bubble, but I also do feel like LeBron has been coasting in the bubble. I mean, basically secured the first spot in the first game when they beat the Clippers. Clippers was like the only like game that really counted, and they handled that. So I feel like they haven't been showing their best arsenal since in the bubble. But I mean, people have I mean legitimate concern for playing the Blazers. I could see why they would be concerned. Lillard's playing out of his mind. Nurkic came back from his horrific leg injury and is playing like really really good basketball. I think he's averaging 18 points in his first 7 games back, which is really good as your third option, fourth option maybe, because Carmelo's there. But I don't see them winning. I don't trust the Blazers defense to be able to stop the Lakers. Lillard is playing like an MVP. He's playing like the best player in the league right now. But I mean, Lillard. We've seen that from Lillard before. This is not the. I mean, he is on a different level. Don't get me wrong, but we've seen that from Lillard before. He's this is not the first. It's not like he's just coming out of nowhere and we're like, damn, this is a whole different Lillard. Like we've seen Lillard scored 50. We know what he could do. He's great on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, there's a lot to be asked for him. Like he's not a great defender. If you get him switched on one of your players, you feel pretty comfortable if he's the one defending you. McCollum, he's a good number 2, but he's not an elite number 2. Like if you have LeBron and your running mate is AD, Anthony freaking Davis, one of the best players, one of the most skilled big men ever, and then you're Lillard, and you have McCollum as your running mate, like you got to give the edge to the Lakers in the playoffs, especially not in the regular season. In the playoffs, superstars win playoff games. That's one of the main like takeaways from NBA history is you need stars in the playoffs. Stars win you games. Stars win you championships. And the Lakers would have the 2 best players in that series. And a lot of people are saying who's gonna stop Lillard? Who's gonna stop McCollum? We have no guards. Well, when LeBron wants to defend, he could pick up one of them. I mean, he won't shut down Lillard, but he could give him a hard time. He has 8 inches on him of height. If you put LeBron on Lillard, I'm pretty sure he'll be able to slow him down at least somewhat. And then McCollum could get his points, but he could just throw different types of bodies. Maybe Kuzma's long. He'll be able to give him a little bit of a trouble, and especially now that Kuzma's actually trying, it feels like it bothers him when people score on him, which is good. I feel like there's been some growth this season in Kuzma, so I'm excited to see him in the playoffs. So yeah, I mean, like we could throw LeBron, we could throw Kuzma, even AD. He's not a bad perimeter defender. But I'll turn that question right back around to the Blazers fans or the people that have the Blazers winning. Who's gonna guard LeBron? Like the one player that the Blazers had that could have maybe slowed down LeBron was Trevor Ariza. He's kind of old now, but he's still a pretty good perimeter defender. But he didn't come to the bubble. He decided to stay home. Nothing wrong with that. He has a family to take care of. But that's the one defender that the Blazers could have had to slow down LeBron. And now he's not there. So who are they going to throw at him? Carmelo. Carmelo has never been a good defender, and he's like 36 years old now. Like you put Melo on LeBron, it's gonna be a cakewalk. It's gonna be easy. I know teams have tried throwing centers at LeBron at times. I mean, they don't have no fast-footed centers. They have a lot of pretty quality centers. Like decent centers. They're not like elite. Nurkic is good offensively. Defensively, he's not that great. That's just facts. I mean, he's kind of good at defending the paint, but if you have him guarding LeBron on the perimeter, he's not fast enough to keep up with him. Same could be said about Whiteside. He's a elite rim defender, but he's horrible out in space just because he's not quick on his feet. That's why the Heat got rid of him, because he's too one-dimensional. Those kind of centers are just not that valuable in the NBA anymore. So yeah, and then who's gonna stop AD? Like, maybe Whiteside. He's a good defender, but I mean, we saw what AD did to Rudy Gobert. Like, he just demolished him, and Rudy Gobert is a defensive player of the year. He's one of the elite defenders in the paint. So Whiteside's it's not Rudy Gobert, and AD handled Rudy Gobert pretty easily. So I mean, I just don't see the Blazers really giving the Lakers that much of trouble. I could see, the one thing I would say is with the other teams, it would be blowouts. It would be a 4-0 sweep. It would be blowouts. But with the Blazers, I could see them, losing in 5, losing in 6, and all 5 or 6 of them being, close games where you're in the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter and you're like, whoa, they might be able to pull this off. But at the end, it won't be able to, just because LeBron and AD are just that good. And the one thing I would say that people haven't been considering is LeBron is a savant at finding mismatches. In that game versus the Clippers, before the weekend, right before the NBA had to shut down, Lou Williams, he's a monster. He could score points. He could get buckets against anybody. But LeBron basically made him useless. He made Doc Rivers had to swap him out, just because whoever Lou Williams was guarding, he would have that player come and set a screen for him. So then he sees Lou Williams guarding somebody, he'll tell that person, come set a screen with me. And then he'll rub the defender that's defending LeBron James, and then they'll get the switch. And Lou Williams will be guarding LeBron James. And Lou Williams, for all his offensive prowess, he leaves a lot to be desired on defense too. So he'll just pick him apart like that. He'll back down Lou Williams. The help would come, kick it out, extra pass, and then it's a wide open 3. LeBron knows how to manipulate defenses like nobody else. So, and the Blazers just don't have defenders, and LeBron is still elite on offense. I don't know. I know he's maybe on the downside. He's not what he used to be, but he's still elite. Like, you guys are gonna see how good he still is once these playoffs starts. AD's a monster. The Lakers have the 2 best players in the series, and stars win you playoff series. Therefore, the Lakers are going to win in 5. In 6. I'll say 6. Lakers in 6, but they're not going 7. And I don't get the hysteria or like the panicking that a lot of people seem to be having right now with the Blazers. They're having a nice little run to make the playoffs. It's fun to see. Congratulations to Lillard for showing up, for shutting up his doubters and letting the NBA know how good of a player he is. Shout out for Carmelo too, for getting a role back in the NBA, for not retiring, for persevering, for sitting almost a year out and coming back and being a contributor to a quality team. Shout out to Nurkic for coming back from a horrific leg injury and still being a really, really solid player. And good for the Blazers. They get to make the playoffs again, probably. I do have them making the playoffs, so shout out to them. But six games tops. 6 games tops. And that's it. I don't see them. I don't see all these people that call them, they're saying that they might be the best 8 seed ever. I don't see that. 6 games tops.